Michael Harris's day began like any other. At 6 a.m., he climbed aboard his city bus, greeting the few early birds who boarded in silence. By 6:19, the familiar group of Southern Trust Bank employees shuffled on at Fifth Avenue, flashing their ID badges and slipping into regular seats. Michael learned to read their routines over years of quiet observation. The precise 32 minutes they spent at Biscayne Car Wash, the way Sarah Lane always fumbled for her key card before every swipe, and the guard's dependable 7-minute smoke break at 9:30 a.m. Before I walk you through the full story, I just have a small favor to ask. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? It's always amazing to see how far this audience is reaching. One morning, Sarah dropped her card on the floor. Michael scooped it up and tucked it into his pocket. Returning it without a word, he couldn't stop thinking about the magnetic stripe and barcode that granted her unhindered access. He began sketching mental maps of the bank's entrances, timing the locks and noting how deliveries bypass security altogether. By day's end, he had logged every vulnerability: unmonitored doors, mechanical delays, careless couriers. Over the next week, Michael refined his plan. He bought a palm-sized magnetic stripe reader, practiced encoding data, and tested duplicates on discarded locks. He fitted his jacket with a slim scanner and learned to clone cards in seconds. He assembled a minimal toolkit, a flashlight, gloves, a crowbar, and a black backpack, and hid his forged duplicate card in a wallet at the bottom of his bag. At 5:30 a.m. on the chosen day, Michael slipped through a side alley to the bank's employee entrance. He waited until the guards ambled out for their smoke, then swiped his fake card. The reader glowed green, the latch clicked open, and he drifted inside a hushed corridor. No cameras alerted, no footsteps echoed behind him. He crouched in a closet stocked with mops and solvents, heart pounding, until he was sure the hallway was empty. Emerging, he found the vault door at the corridor's end. The 6-digit code, 714263, had been overheard in endless morning chatter. He punched it in, inserted his copy of Sarah's card into the manual lock, and watched the steel door swing inward. Inside, neat rows of cash bundles gleamed under fluorescent lights, each wrapped in $10,000 stacks of hundreds. Michael didn't hesitate. He filled his backpack layer by layer, counting precisely 20 bundles until the bag could hold no more. $2 million, all in crisp bills. He paused, listening for alarms that never came, then retraced his steps. The duplicate card slid easily in and out of the reader as he exited, and he closed the door gently behind him. Back on the street by 9:56 a.m., he blended into the mid-morning crowd, backpack heavy but his face calm. At a rented garage hidden under a false name, he stashed the cash in a steel box beneath a false floor, burned his gloves and duplicate card, and scattered any remaining evidence in distant trash bins. By afternoon, the bank had discovered the heist. Managers panicked over missing logs and a vault left ajar. Detectives scoured surveillance stills for intruders but found no one. Michael was miles away, driving his bus route at 4 p.m., faking casual chatter about the weather. His alibi was airtight, a familiar driver in a familiar seat. For weeks, Michael maintained his routine, absorbing news bulletins that called it the most insider robbery in city history. He learned of fingerprints found on a doorframe, gloves must have slipped, and of a fragment of a cloned card unearthed miles from the scene. Investigators knocked on his door, questioned his schedules, but lacked proof. When they finally charged him, it was on circumstantial grounds: his proximity, the recovered adapter piece, and his unremarkable behavior in the months after the crime. He was convicted in February 2016 and sentenced to 15 years. Prison stripped him of freedom, but not of hope. He spent days reading law books and mentoring fellow inmates in finance basics, always remembering the hidden millions left in Mobile, Alabama. On February 10, 2022, exactly 6 years after his arrest, Michael walked out of federal prison into a world he barely recognized. Using funds sent by an old accomplice, he rented a car and headed south. In the warehouse district of Mobile, he retrieved his steel box beneath the false floor, counting each bundle with a familiar thrill: $2 million, still intact. He discarded the tools of his conviction and vanished again, this time for good, into a new identity forged with fresh documents, a rented apartment in a quiet town, and a life built on the plain utility of odd job work, far from the neon lights of Miami. And somewhere in that small community, a former bus driver lived without fanfare, carrying the weight of his choices and his cash in equal measure. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the next one.